When you understand the definition of scrying, you know that it means to reveal or perceive. It is gazing into a medium to reveal the future. It is accessing a revelation through means of divination, using mediums such as water, candle flames, crystal balls, and mirrors. We may not be looking for revelations of the future, but how often are we unlocking the black mirrors of our mobile devices for answers to questions? If you have seen the presentation I did on electric gateways, and you believe that evil spirits have access to us through our mobile devices, the question is, are we in effect scrying for information? I would say in essence, yes, but in practice, no. We do touch and open up a black mirror to gain access to a wealth of information, but nobody that I know of is trying to see into the future using their cell phone, nor are people trying to use their cell phones to contact spirits, for the most part anyway. Traditionally, a witch or someone wanting to contact spirits would just use a black mirror or other medium. Now you and I know better than to engage in such practices as scrying. This is another door, a portal, a gateway for spirits to interact with humans. And none of those spirits will be human. Black mirrors are a tool of fortune telling or prophecy. It is technology. If one, however, stares too long into the darkness, then they may become consumed by visions of what may be possible, entering into a territory of madness. Historically, black mirrors, of course, go as far back as Egypt, and I am sure even further back than that. I don't think there is anything new under the sun, honestly, folks. I think people in the days of Noah had everything we had, if not more. I'm talking about knowledge and technology. Perhaps even their own version of the internet. Because if that technology was inspired by fallen angels, then they have done this before, probably using crystal technology. Let me ask you guys a question. How does a mirror work? Yes, we know that it reflects light, but how does it reflect an image that is almost exact to what we see in front of us? You stand in front of a mirror, no plugs, no cords, no electric. How does it pick up your image? Not only does it pick up your image, but you can look around inside of a mirror and see things in the mirror that are not right in front of it. It's like a whole other world in there. I mean, how many of you have ever thought about the magic of a mirror? A simple piece of tech we take for granted every day. Really interesting stuff to look into when you have the time, how mirrors work. You know what? It's too interesting. I'll tell you anyway. Because the information is actually relevant when we start talking about spiritual energy. Now, light travels something like 186,000 miles per second. And once those light photons hit an object, the energy of the photon has to be absorbed or reflected, or a little of both. You can only see a person because light is reflecting off of them in a diffused emission. when light reflects off of something like a mirror, the photons are reflected back the same way they were received, in a straight line. And this is called specular emission or reflection. So, when you put silver behind a piece of glass or polished aluminum, almost all the photon energy is recycled and sent back out away from the mirror in the direction that it came in. Keep in mind that a mirror can not only reflect the light, but the heat as well, right? It reflects thermal energy. Why? Because the mirror is essentially just reflecting electromagnetic radiation. In the case of a black mirror, the black color is absorbing most of the light spectrum. The small percentage of reflection is due to the smooth surface of the glass. Traditionally, black mirrors are made from obsidian glass, which is a volcanic black rock that has a smooth vitrified surface that can be polished to reflect some light. When you look into a regular mirror, you're getting almost all that light energy thrown back at you. So you can't actually see what is behind the glass. You can't actually see the silver, although the mirror itself still has that metallic look. A person still can use a regular mirror for scrying. In a black mirror, you can see through the glass, through the faint reflection into the color black. So now you can see if anything appears within the surface of the mirror itself. Now, does this mean that spirits can manipulate the absorbed electromagnetic light energy to reflect back to you whatever they want you to see? The Aztec priests used black mirrors to summon visions, prophecies, to gain access to the underworld and communicate with the dead. They say the reflection from a black mirror is the reflection of someone's soul. So when someone is scrying or gazing, they are looking to receive messages from the spirit world. But in order to do this, first of all, don't do this. Anyone thinking of doing this, anyone who has done this, stop doing it. You will get ran through by spirits like some 304, and that will carry over into your real life. Think I'm joking? And if you think these entities are going to give people information for free, think again. They always come back for payment. One of the reasons why people have to meditate and cast protection spells before scrying, because they know they are venturing into the unknown. Last time I talked about how our cell phones could be used as gateways for spirits to commute. And what's interesting is, if you go to your local witch, they'll probably tell you that you can use your cell phone for magic. You only need a polished surface for scrying. You could use the black screen surface of your cell phone for that. It is a black mirror. When your TV is off, when your laptop is off, all black mirrors. But usually, you have to clean out those devices to use them for black mirrors because of all the energy that has been running through the device. So you're probably wondering, what do people actually see when scrying using a black mirror? Well, let me give you a bit of information on that, which comes from a source called Neuromagic. The black mirror facial reflection distortion technique is derived from literature attributed to Carol Polk Runyon and his affiliate Nelson White. The two reportedly worked together in the 1960s and 70s. The technique was first described in a booklet called Secret Magic Revealed, authored by Nelson White and his wife Anne. While it's fair to attribute the modern variants of the technique to Runyon and White's work, the visual effects at the root of it are quite discoverable by dabbling with mirror magic. it's a fair bet that many contemporaries have and continue to use the technique without knowing about their work. The technique being described here is a morphing technique. Basically, you gaze at your reflection over and over again until it morphs slightly at first and then over time into something that could appear quite monstrous. What is relatively unique to the Runyon White Craig exposition of the technique was its specific application of goetic evocation, a type of medieval magic defined by calling forth and commanding spirits for self-development and or to achieve practical goals. The Grimoire, known as the Goetia, details the evocation procedures and lists 72 spirits, describing their origins and powers, and a spirit-specific seal by which each may be controlled. This article goes on into the steps of using this technique. And then from there, it goes into something very interesting when it comes to people gazing into mirrors. Listen to this. A researcher named Giovanni B. Caputo authored a paper called The Strange Face in the Mirror Illusion in 2010, describing an experiment with a general sample of adults. Notably, for our purposes here, these people weren't selected for a background in occult studies, magic, or any sort of scrying, nor would that have been a reason for exclusion. The participants gazed into a mirror for 10 minutes and then reported what they saw. Here's an excerpt of the results. 1. Some people had huge deformations of one's own face, reported by 66% of the 50 participants. Okay. Number 2, a parent's face with traits changed. 18% reported that, of whom 8% were still alive and 10% were deceased. So they were getting visuals of their parents' face, 10% of who were dead already, and 8% of who were still alive. 3, they received a visual of an unknown person, 28%. 4, an archetypal face, such as that of an old woman, a child, or a portrait of an ancestor, again 28%. An animal face such as that of a cat, pig, or lion, 18%. Fantastical and monstrous beings, 48%. That's almost half. I don't know about you guys, but that's not very good odds, is it? You mean almost half the time you are doing this, you're seeing monsters or some weird looking being. I mean, they consider this type of effect to be normal, but what happens when you go to a mirror with intention? All the rules change. You guys want to hear something really crazy? I'll tell you, when I start connecting the dots, I don't really know why it's being revealed to me. The Aztecs used black mirrors for serious ritualistic purposes. They attributed the black mirror with one of their deities known as Tezcatlipoca, god of the sky, ancestral memory, time, and lord of the north. He is the embodiment of change through conflict. His name also translates to smoking mirror. Remember that name, smoking mirror. This is a jaguar god, folks. Yeah, I know the artist went crazy here, but I like the style. Now, didn't we recently have a sculpture reveal at the UN for a jaguar eagle sculpture that came from where? Oaxaca, Mexico, where the Aztecs used to live. Usually the jaguar and eagle are two different warrior classes. Either way, we have some idea where this all leads. There is more to come, more to reveal. Be sure to visit woodwardentertainment.com and the Woodward Entertainment Store. You can follow me on Instagram at jwoodward. I'll be looking forward to bringing you the next presentation very soon. But until then, friends, as always, stay awake, stay aware, stay safe, and I'll talk to you all soon.